OMG. So imagine you're at a park with your friends, you're just hanging out, but things start getting kind of crazy. Okay, you see this group of boys, they're jumping people, they're beating people up, it's crazy. And around the same time, a woman happens to be assaulted in a further area of the park. You and your friends end up getting wrapped up in it, you go to jail, it's really crazy. Welcome to Broken Justice, a podcast where we discuss wrongful conviction cases and the accountability the justice system should take. I'm your host, Thomas Cole.
I'm Tamia Stafford.
And I'm Bethany Yarger.
Alright, so let me set the scene for you. It's 1989 in Manhattan in New York City. And at the time, there's a lot going on. There's the AIDS epidemic still going on. There's a lot of, racial tensions, hate crimes going on. And that's, all throughout the five boroughs. So this one night in April, there's an investment banker, and her name was Trisha. And she was just jogging in Central Park when, unfortunately, she got physically and sexually assaulted. And she was left in critical condition. And so the same night, there was a group of 30 teenage boys, majority black and Latino, and they're just hanging out, but like Promise said, things start getting crazy. They were harassing homeless people and attacking other people, riding their bikes or walking throughout the park. So police were called because of all the commotion, and they start arresting the boys for harassing the other people in the park. And some of them got away because they just started running around the city. But later on, they found the jogger that was left in the park after she got raped. And so what the police did was they just kept 5 of the boys in custody, and their names were Kevin Richardson, Antron McCray, Yusuf Salam, Raymond Santana Jr., and Corey Wise.
Yes, and the part that really got me was how the detectives got the confessions, because they were lying to the parents, telling them oh, we're just doing paperwork for a separate arrest, they'll be home soon. Whole time they're getting interrogated, they don't have their parents, they don't have a lawyer. It's just really crazy. And then they were because the boys didn't know each other, well, 2 of them know each other, but they all didn't know each other, so it's they're telling them names of the other people within the group, they're getting confused, so that's how they got their confessions. And then it's the time didn't even add up, because they got arrested, they got arrested 9:10,
Yeah.
and then the woman got assaulted at 9:20.
Yeah.
So it's that didn't even add up from the jump.
Yeah,
so
that part. And so Central Park is big, right? So in the reports, they're saying the victim was found at 102nd Street, and then the boys were found 110th or 112th or something like that. So when you're just hearing street names, it sounds oh, it's a couple blocks down. But because Central Park is so big, it's intersections. So 102nd is somewhere in the north area, but 110th is all the way over, and you kind of turn the corner of where the park begins. So it's actually a lot further than someone would think. And especially because of the times that they were arrested, there's no way that they could have quickly gone and attacked Trisha and came back, continued harassing all those other people, and got arrested for the harassment. And what's crazy is they gaslit Kevin when they were interrogating him. So when he was arrested, he got hit in the head with a police helmet, and the police officer that attacked him was saying oh, where are you going? I told you not to move, you little animal, and just yelling a whole bunch of crazy stuff at him. And so later on, when they brought him in, another detective was interrogating him and was oh, how'd you get this scar? Because they were trying to pin it on him that he attacked Trisha, and so when she was fighting back, that's how he got the scar. And they told him that his whole story about being hit by the police officer was just this whole lie, and they kept trying to make him admit that he was attacking Trisha and that she just fought back, and that's how he got the scar. The park itself is just a bunch of land, so it's a huge square in the middle of this area in Manhattan. And so you have different points where you can enter through the park. So they use the street names of wherever the intersection is of where the park, where you're entering the park, and where the last street is that you're crossing.
You know where you are.
Yeah, so that's why you could be on 102nd, or you could be all the way down South Central Park. That's gonna be a whole different street name with different numbers, different everything.
Okay, so you feel the prosecutors were in New York, so you think they would have known oh, it wasn't possible, because they know about the
They
park.
should have, but it's also as a prosecutor, it's your job to try to convince the people that they did this. So
And on top of that, there's a lot of, I guess, racial issues that's going around on this time.
So at this point, they're just really trying to pin it on them. But it's not completely far. You can still get there walking, but at the time that they were at the time that she was found, well, not when she was found, at the time that she like was attacked, and at the time that they were being arrested, they wouldn't have really had time because the police were already there.
Okay, fair.
So how long were they in prison for? In jail?
So it varied for each of them, like based off their ages and stuff like that. But most of them spent between 6 to 7 years. But Corey, he went to Rikers Island because he was like 16, so he did 13 years.
And that's more of intense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rikers
that's
Island
an
is
adult
a
prison.
real.
Oh dang. And how old was he? Was he the oldest one?
He was 16.
16. It seems like a lot of the mistakes that are happening from that case is inside and outside the court. Because with the police, that's definitely outside. And for forensics, I guess that would be outside as well because they didn't really have the correct evidence to prove their innocence. And for the prosecutors and the judges, like to be given like a certain amount of evidence, but still be so confident to convict somebody, like with that lack of evidence, that is also on their part too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I think like a judge. No, I don't think about it. I think a judge could say this evidence isn't like adding up, and then like declare a mistrial.
Yeah.
So the judge in this case, Loki could have done that. So it's the judge's fault too.
Yeah.
a lot of biases does go on too. So
That's true.
especially in a time period like this, it was the 90s, the 80s.
Yeah,
1980s.
80s to 90s.
Around there. That was also when the development of DNA evidence was happening. And there's this case that it's the Keith Allen Harvard case where he was wrongfully convicted for rape and murder, and the woman who was assaulted that night, she has no like recollection of what happened that night, so she couldn't like be so confident to pinpoint him as the suspect. And the police, they use like hypnosis on her, which is that was a mistake on their fault. I mean their part, because that just sounds unreliable already.
Yeah.
And what Keith Allen Harvard wanted to do was have the judicial system change the fact that they accept bite mark evidence, because there are forensic scientists that still believe that it is a reliable source of evidence, and there's nothing stopping them from bringing it to courts.
But has there ever been a time where, like, it really did work? They're like, okay, we found the. Well, it was probably that on top of other stuff, not just the bite alone, because that sounds like actually.
Yes, there is more. I would say he was known for being a biter, and like the description, he matched the description because he was a sailor. But like, you know, they're in an area where like it's Virginia, so there's gonna be a lot of sailors because it was around
Oh,
like
so
a,
like
it was
a
like a
lake
base
or something?
Yeah, it was like around a lake, I think. Yeah, and it's like 1980, so their DNA profile is not gonna be on record.
I
Yeah.
just realized. I'm like, wait, what do you mean 33 years? While he's in jail, they're like, he did it, so they're not even investigating it anymore.
Oh
So
yeah,
it
you're
really
right.
is 33 years later.
Wow.
So like
No,
the
they're
real
not
perpetrators are already long gone.
They,
Yeah.
like, they could be dead or anything. It's like, they know you all.
Yeah, and he was. It's shocking to think that he was only rewarded with like
$1 million.
1.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah, for all those years. I mean, it's Virginia. They probably don't have like that kind of money like New York does.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, that does not it does not come close to the amount of time he spent. And he tried to sue the court that got him wrongfully convicted because he wanted to see some change. Like if that he didn't want that to happen to anybody else.
Right, because that's right.
And that was his main concern. He was more worried about the safety of other people.
So he wasn't even thinking like, oh, I'm trying to get more money. He's like,
He's like
I'm
he
trying
wants
to
to see
looking
some
out for
change.
Yeah.
And the courts, they did not like officially ban bite mark evidence, and that made him upset. So he didn't technically win the court, but he court because it was money. Like he won money. That's it. And
so he got more money on top of the one.
it was around 3 million, so not that much. But like he doesn't want money. He wants real justice.
Yeah.
Judicial immunity is like the basis for a lot of these wrongful conviction cases because, well, in general, the judges are protected. Like if someone's not happy with the outcome, they can't just go and sue the judge.
Does it not extend to the does it extend to the prosecutors too?
And with prosecutorial immunity, you can't really sue like the individual prosecutor, but you can sue the office for failing to train the prosecutors properly, and that's what Keith Harvard did. But they didn't didn't do anything to the office, or they didn't really take accountability, as in like change anything within the system, because the prosecutor is like alone in the situation. But the office, you can't. I guess you can't blame the entire office for that one prosecutor's mistakes. Nikki Miller v. Montgomery, Kentucky is also another case with a wrongful conviction, and he was put into prison for murder, but he didn't actually do it. There was just a faulty confession from a witness, and there were letters that would have proven his innocence, but the prosecutor shredded them. And so you can't really, like, okay, with prosecutorial immunity, you can't, it's very hard to sue the prosecutor. So he sued the office, saying that, okay, you guys failed to train your prosecutors, like, decently, because, like, look at, like, this is going to happen more in the future. It's like, if you don't train them, then more of these accidents are going to happen. And then they're like, no, because, I'm trying to think.
But it's like, you can't train someone to not be a bad person. That's just
Yeah,
a
To
bad
not
person.
destroy evidence. Yeah.
And they basically declined it, saying that the office shouldn't be reliable for the prosecutor's mistakes, because the prosecutor acts like mostly alone. There are two other cases that kind of set like the baseline for whatever happens in cases where you want to sue the prosecutor or the judge. Like, you can't sue the judge because like judicial immunity, and prosecutorial immunity also protects the prosecutors, like unless in like really extreme circumstances. And for Nikki Miller, and actually both Nikki Miller and Connick, like in those two separate cases, they sued the district attorney office, and they said that you guys are like training these prosecutors wrong. Look at the mistakes they're making. It's like if they act like, I guess the way they act basically kind of relies on the office, but those are individual people, and it shouldn't be the office's fault for hiring evil people or people that make mistakes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So it's hard for real accountability to happen within that, because it's really just like one person's fault, but they're protected.
Yeah.
And I guess what we can take away from this is that there are rules in the judicial system that just cannot be changed. Like sometimes if rules overlap, then one of this, like, something's gonna have to happen, or a new rule will be created. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. It's like, for some things, there's really no better alternative, so it just has to stay the way it is. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, people will be biased no matter what, and although their jobs are supposed to like keep them unbiased,
yeah,
sometimes
they're supposed to be impartial, but
sometimes you
human,
just can't
so
help
it's like-
the influence. But thank you guys for watching Broken Justice. I'm Tania,
I'm Promise.
And I'm Bethany.
and see you in the next episode.
Yeah. Stay safe, and don't find yourself in a situation where you have to be wrongfully convicted for something, pretty much. Like, definitely be aware of the rules and know who to sue and how to sue if there's...
Yes, that's real.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
have
if you
to
ever
know
find
who
yourself in
to
a
sue.
situation, don't waste your time if you cannot get the justice you want to happen. Pretty much.
All right.
No, I feel like what you said was way better than what we
Period.
had going on the first
I
time.
know the rules.
Just don't,
Don't be
be
wrongfully
convicted.
convicted and get a nice lawyer. Call Top Dog Law.